Good morning. Hear God's word from Paul's letter to the folks in Thessalonica. Simply says, be joyful in all things, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances. Let us pray. Our Lord God, we ask your Spirit be upon us, that we will open our heart and our mind, our soul and spirit. And we pray that you would be with this, your servant, that the words spoken would be acceptable unto you. And we pray this in your name. Amen. Well, I have to say that I look at these three very difficult suggestions that Paul has to the church at Thessaloniki through the eyes of life experience. And I have to tell you that February, about 42 years ago, I had a span of 5 days that was just terrible. I was at Whitehaven United Methodist Church. Whitehaven is an exit off of Interstate 80 that runs east and west across our state. And a blizzard blew in and people got stuck out there in the interstate. So I did a nice thing, a Christian thing, a loving thing. I invited a woman and her cat to come and stay in my house. And I check out with the woman, it's the cat trained, Oh, no problem, no problem. So they stayed about 18, 20 hours, gave them a nice bed, gave them dinner and breakfast, and sent them on the way. And after they left, I discovered that cat had done its business at a number of places in my house, including on top of the hutch in the dining room. And pray unceasingly. I was praying unceasingly. If you figure muttering under your breath, praying. And I just vowed, I'm never ever going to do that again. And I was not joyful. I was not thankful. You get me? And then about 3 or 4 days after that, a couple came to my door because there's some sign, a beautiful sign on the parcel that says, Pastor lives here, and people come. And they needed a place to stay. So I, with arrangements from the congregation, sent them to a motel, local motel, so they could stay the night. And the next day, the owner of the motel called and said, those folks you sent here? Well, they left this morning with every towel, with the bedspread, every sheet, 2 lamps, and the TV. And I was not joyful or thankful. But I got over that pretty quickly, because when the board met to say, well, we should stop doing that, people are going to do that, I had to say no, we're still called to serve and love. So I got over that fairly quickly. But what if there is stuff that happens that is just jaw-dropping and soul-wrenching? How do we deal with this thing about be joyful in all things? Pray all the time. How do we deal with being thankful when those kind of things happen? Well, we could take some souls and really discover the context of this verse. It's really pulled out context for you this morning. It's a part of Paul's letter to this church, and Paul had been to this church for only 3 weeks, but made a significant impact on their life. But the church developed some issues. There were some issues around them not quite understanding his teaching about the second coming. And people actually were just sitting and waiting. They actually quit their jobs and all that kind of stuff. They were just waiting for Jesus to come back again. And there were issues in the church. So this text is a part of a text where Paul is giving instructions to the church, larger instructions. Not only these three, but but respect your elders, be kind, take care of the poor, those kind of things. So in reality, if we wanted to, we could absolve ourselves of any kind of personal responsibility here and say that it's a corporate thing, that this is instructions to the church. So the church is supposed to pray unceasingly and be joyful in all things and give thanks in all things. That takes the pressure off us. Lets us off the hook, doesn't it? I'm imagining we have readers back there who are saying, "Are you joyful and grateful this morning?" You know, and if we get a critical mass, then we're in good shape. I don't think it lets us off the hook, does it? Are these things impossible or what? Now, the prayer thing, I have some idea about. Have you ever had the experience of all of a sudden start singing a tune in your head? And it just doesn't leave, right? You just keep going back to it. It just doesn't leave. I read one of the monastics who said, "Yeah, that's how you pray unceasingly. You speak to yourself a mantra, something like Jesus is Lord or God is love. And you just keep saying it over and over and over and over again, so that it begins just kind of playing in the background while you're living your life." I've never tried it, but I bet it could work. I know that my brain can do two things different at the same time. Because I know as a worship leader for years and years and years, the same worship service, the same Lord's Prayer, I could lead the congregation in the Lord's Prayer and be looking and reading what I'm going to do next. So maybe that pray unceasingly could work. And prayer for me is just reminding me who I am and how I need God. So that thing about Jesus is Lord over and over and over again may work. But what about this stuff of being joyful and grateful in all things? What about that? How do we deal with that? I'm not sure that I know. But maybe we'll struggle a little together. There is something that is rooted in an understanding that there's a difference between happiness and joy. For me, happiness are those things out there that bring a sense of happiness to me. Like my family took me out for my birthday this last week. That's something that made me happy. Joy goes a little deeper, doesn't it? Joy is not something that is out there. Joy is something that lives in here, in our heart, in our soul, in our spirit. Joy is something that is just there, that nurtures and strengthens our living day by day. It seems to me that joy is that place inside of us that helps us to tell our story. So the question is, what is your story? Is your story one of knowing without question that you are truly loved by God, however you think about God? Is that part of your story? There's no way that the people around you are going to love you unconditionally. Most people can't do that. But is part of your story the belief that you are loved without question? Is part of your story a belief and understanding that the universe is full of abundance, and that I have no need that can't be met? Is that part of your story? Is that what lives in you? Is part of your story of understanding, a belief, a knowing? Even in the dark side of the night, the dawn comes, and it comes every day. It comes always. It's part of your story, the belief that out of everything that is negative comes something that is life-giving and nourishes us. It's really all about what we know inside ourselves. And we trust and know and believe. And for me, it's like the underground rivers that flow underneath our feet here. That joy is just there. That it flows. It's just there. And our task is maybe to just remind ourselves of that and to reach into it. And especially so when those times come that rip our heart and soul and spirit apart. I don't know. That's how I'm thinking about it. Does it make any sense? You know, you're never prepared as a pastor. I was called to the hospital. Been there the day before to celebrate the birth of a little baby. Rose was her name. And the folks called me back the day after. And I got there to find parents and grandparents sitting holding the baby, and heard the story that somebody in the hospital had not done what they were supposed to do and put this baby's life in jeopardy, and in fact, she was going to die. And so we sat there and we held her. And we held her until she died. And right now I can feel it. I felt it deeply then, and I can feel it deeply now. And we drove home, all of us, in tears. I went to visit them the next day, and they were doing the thing that I thought was appropriate. Why? How did this happen? How did God let this happen? And I don't know what you can say to that. So I was just there. And then I went the next day, and the first thing they said to me was, Pastor Gary, we're really sorry about what we said yesterday. We've been so blessed. I'm just blessed? You're kidding me. You're kidding me. I didn't say that, but that was what was inside. Pastor Gary, we've been so blessed. We have felt God's love so deeply and strongly as people have been with us before us. I visited that couple a long time. And there were dark days, I need to tell you that. But there were also those days when they kept saying, we are so blessed. And there came a day, believe this or not, there came a day, maybe a year and a half later, where they could say, because they had become a part of a group that nurtured each other and then led a group that nurtured each other, or parents who lost children, and they could say to me in that time, we're just really thankful. We want our daughter back, but we are so thankful for all that's happened. We've known God's love like we've never known before. Our faith is deeper than it's ever been before. We are so grateful. And for me, it was a living proof of this. Pray unceasingly. In all things give thanksgiving. And in all things be joyful. Amen.